it says in the pasuk like this. The time approached for Yisrael to die. That's talking about Yaakov. So he called his son Yosef and he said to him, please, if I found favor in your eyes, please do not bury me in Egypt. Yaakov is asking Yosef, please do not bury me in Egypt. And I will allow my fathers, and you shall transport me out of Egypt to bury me in their grave. Now he wants them to move into Eretz Yisrael. So what does Yosef answer? Yosef answered and says, I will do according with your words. So then Yaakov says back to him, swear to me. And he swore to him, and Yisrael prostrated himself before the heads of his bed. So you see that Yaakov wanted Yosef to make a shavua that he takes his bones out of Egypt. So the Ramban says like this. Why did he make him have to make a shavua? Well, there was two problems. One thing, he made him promise because he was worried that Paro was going to make trouble, which is actually what happened. Paro did try to make trouble. And since he knew that Yosef took a shavua, so Paro couldn't go that far to make Yosef be over the shavua of his father. He wanted to make trouble, but not that far. But the second thing that the Rambam says is very interesting. And he says that Yosef would also feel more obligated to fulfill his father's wish on his account. Yosef would also feel more obligated. So, Chedusha Alev, Rav Henrik Leibowitz. So he says like this. He says it doesn't make any sense. Why? According to this Rambam, we can be medayek that if he didn't swear, he wouldn't feel so obligated, and he wouldn't try as hard. The swearing made more obligation, made him try harder. But wait a second, who are we talking about? First of all, the pasuk itself said, I will do in accordance with your words. He said clearly, before the Shavua. He said, I'll do whatever you want me to do, Abba. Whatever you want me to do, of course I'll do it. Second of all, it's his last wish. His son is asking my last wish to take his bones and bury them in Eretz Yisrael, not to bury his body in Egypt. And not only that, we know the Rambam himself said at an earlier point when Yaakov sent Yosef to go check out what was going on with the welfare of your brothers, go check out what's going on with the welfare of your brothers. That was at a point where things were very hot, and he knew it was dangerous. And he didn't say to him, the Rambam points out, he says, he didn't say to him, no, I can't go, it's dangerous. He went. He wasn't scared, Yosef. So what? He's a person who listens 100% to his father. What does he need the Shavua for? What was it adding? Good kasha, right? So he answers like this. He wants to say that what Yaakov was worried about, he was worried about onus. What does onus mean? Uncontrollable circumstances. He was worried that Yosef was going to get himself into a position where things were out of control and Paro was making trouble and this was happening, all these different pressures were coming. The pressure would come and he would feel at a certain point, listen, I'm onus, what can I do? It's uncontrollable, it's beyond my capabilities. I'm limited, what can I do? So he made him take a shavua to conquer that. Now how does a shavua, how does an oath conquer that? So he wants to say that when a person makes an oath, it gives him more strength. It gives him super strength. It opens up his mind in a new way, new possibilities. Because when you take responsibility for something, the mind opens up to new possibilities. What would have been considered uncontrollable before would now be considered under control. Because I have to do it. If a person feels I must do this thing, his creativity works, his mind works in different levels. He's able to do things that he wasn't able to do before. It's all based on his decision. If your decision is I must succeed, you will succeed. And if not, it's the difference between the worker and the boss, right? The company's having trouble. And the workers say, well, what can we do? We might as well throw in the towel and we have to call chapter 11, that's it, we have to give up. And the boss says, no way, we're going to figure out a way. It takes responsibility. He has to figure out a way. So he figures out a way. So he says like this, another beautiful thing, and he explains this midrash. It's a beautiful midrash here. There's a midrash in Midrash Rabbah and Esther that says that a person should do, Rav Yitzchak ben Maharian says, a person should always do a mitzvah with all of his heart. Why? He brings three examples. One example is, he says, if Reuven would have known that it was written in the Torah that he saved Yosef out of the pit, and he saved him from death. If Reuven would have known that that was written in the Torah that he saved him, he said he would have carried him on his shoulders and schlepped him back to his father. And it says that if Aaron would have known that it was written in the Torah when Moshe got his promotion to be Moshe Rabbeinu, when God chose Moshe over Aaron to be the leader, so he came to meet him and he came to him with a full heart. He said if he knew it was written down, he would have came to him with tambourines and dancing. He would have came even with more excitement. And it said if Boaz would have knew it was written in the Torah, it was written in Ruth that that he fed Ruth, he said he would have fed her with fattened calves. He would have fed her even more food, better food. So we see from this midrash that if they would have known what the real importance of what they were doing, and they would have taken more responsibility for what they were doing, they would have done it with greater excitement, in a better way, in a bigger way. So the question is, what you see here from this midrash, as Rav Leibowitz points out, that you see that the midrash is not finding fault what they did. It's not saying, oh, you guys didn't do a good job. They're just saying you would have done more. Why? He wants to point it like this. They did to their full capacities. In other words, Aaron came with a full leg. And who else are we talking about? And Reuben really did what he could. The circumstances were, it was a rough situation, and he did what he could. To the maximum of what he thought was possible. But the finish is, if he would have known the importance, if he would have taken more responsibility, same idea. If he knew that he had to save him, if he knew that it was mukrach, he must do this thing, he would have done it on a higher level. Why? Because responsibility creates creativity. That's the finish. When a person takes responsibility for something, he finds new ways and better ways. His mind opens up, and what was considered impossible before becomes possible, just based on the responsibility. It's a kavod chiddush. It's a very scary thought. Why is it a scary thought? Because the responsibility produces the potential to get the job done. And God forbid a person said, listen, what can I do? Basically, we have the realm of free will. What our choices are. So we don't have total free will. I can't jump to the moon, and I can't do... We have free will within the realm that God gave us free will. The question is, what is that realm? If we limit it because we say, listen, I can't do this, and I'm limited here, and I'm limited that, that's not necessarily all min hashamayim. It's based on our decisions on what we feel we're responsible for. If we take on more responsibility, more possibilities come up. So it says, for example, in that same line, it said, one of the Bali Musar, Rabbi Yosef Horowitz used to say, he used to go to a camp in the summertime, how do you call it, resort. He used to go to a resort in the summer. So he used to bring his own mezuzah. And the mezuzah, he used to make sure it had all the dorm, and he put the mezuzah, and he stayed there for a month or two, and then he'd take the mezuzah down at the end. So when he took the mezuzah down one time, he looked at it, and he saw that there was a nail that went straight through the olive. When they put it up, they didn't put it up right, and it went through. So he says, a person can make the mistake, this is what he said, a person can make the mistake his whole life, thinking himself a tzaddik, and the truth is even missing the olive. That was the Muslim. He's missing the olive. He's missing olive base. In other words, you think you're doing everything you could do, but what you're doing is really limited on what you feel you're taking responsibility for. And that's why, if you look at the Mesilas Yesharim, what's the opening move? The opening move, Rav Zimmerman used to say, pawn to king 4. The opening move in a chess game. The opening move in the Mesilas Yesharim is the foundation of Saintliness, and the room perfection and service of God lies in a man coming to see clearly and recognizes the truth, the nature of his duty in the world. Yeah. That is the opening move. That's the opening move of being religious. What am I responsible for? And the more responsibility I take, that's open to more possibilities. The person's going to get, listen, I tried, I was honest. So that was the whole point, that the Shavuot was supposed to be taken with the onus. There's also another story, a famous story, how Eliyahu Navi came to the fisherman. You probably heard this. And he said, listen, maybe you should learn Torah. He says, well, I'm a fisherman. I don't know how to learn Torah. He says, well, tell me, what do you do, Well, how do you fish? Well, first I go and I get these pieces of threads and I make these nets, and it's very complicated, and it takes me a week or a month to make the nets, and then I go out in the boats and I have to figure out where the fish are, and it's all a whole complicated story about, how to catch these fish. He says, listen, if you could do that, you could also learn Torah. What do you mean you don't have the capabilities? You have the capabilities because you decided this is what I take responsibility for. I'm limited. What can I do? I'm just a poor fisherman. That's what I am. But if you would really take on more responsibility, more obligation, and say, what am I really obligated to do? So, of course, new possibilities would open up. It'd be a different world. I'm trying to do Steinmik B'Chatari. I'm trying to learn the Torah Parsha twice and do it. But every week I don't really get to it. It happens. For example, if a person say, listen, if I miss the Parsha this week, I'm going to give 200 shekels to tzedakah. $50. I guarantee you will find the time to do that Stein Mikvah Chata. Right, $50, yeah, you'll see. You'll find the time instead of giving that $50 to tzedakah. You'll find the time. So what happened? The answer is you took responsibility. That's right. The more you take on, the more you're able to do. If you want to get something done, give it to a busy man, they say. Right? Yeah. So it's a question of how much responsibility. It's a question of how much responsibility you take. It's a very scary idea. I could add another point. There's another idea here, which is actually more of a spiritual rule. The rule is derech atzem rolelech malichin oto. The way that a man goes, Hashem takes it. Even the Ganav, Hashem helps the thief and Hashem helps everybody. How does a person get from point A to point B? The same energy that when a person's doing a sin, God's giving him the energy to do the sin. The way that a person goes, Hashem helps him. So the same idea here. If you decide really you want to do something, Hashem will open up. I found, I decided I want to do Shtaim. All of a sudden I found an extra 20 minutes here and there that I didn't even know about before. All of a sudden it just opened up. I said, wow, there's 20 minutes right there. I could do it right then. It didn't exist before. It was all based on the decision. The decision is basically, a decision is all you have. And it's the strongest force in the world. When you decide, the world turns on your decision. When you decide something, then your whole world's going to turn. You're going to meet the right person. You're going to see the right thing. Hashem opens up possibilities, which is a scary thought because in the end, it's all dependent on you. What you decide, what you want to do. But the bottom line is the formula here is responsibility leads to creativity. When you decide, I must do it, you'll find a way. If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Okay, Shabbos.